What is up, guys? Sam from the Byeforever family here with my first strategy guide, I guess you could say. Don't think I've done one of these ever. Maybe, actually, no. I've done one, and it was from quite a while ago. It was back before Town Hall 11, I think, was even a thing. But today I'm going to be bringing you a strategy guide on the 11v11 Falcon attack. Going to be going over some of the things that I look for, break down a couple of bases, show you a couple of replays, and hopefully you guys will find it helpful. So, I need to jump into some of my old wars and find the first one. And where is it? Base 4. Here we go. Alright, so let's take a pause, take a look at this base, and talk about some of the things that we're looking for. So when I'm doing these attacks, I am really looking for three main things. First off, good queen walk value. And what do I mean by that? Obviously, all the things that go into a queen walk, looking for areas where air defenses are not. But just like at Town Hall 10, I know at Town Hall 10 it's basically walk one side of the base, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, whatever that may be. But I'm looking for somewhere where I can do something similar and only use maybe one rage and the ability. Also looking for a cheap funnel for that queen walk, making it easy to make the queen go the direction that I want her to go. So those are the first things that I'm looking for. Next, I'm looking at predicting the Valk pathing. Oftentimes, that's the hardest thing to do, and one of the reasons people don't like Valks is predicting the Valk pathing. And then three, I'm looking for ways to get my troops to the core and to the Eagle artillery, most importantly. So those are the three major things that I'm looking for in this base. Now, looking at this one, you can see there's a couple of things that I look for specifically when I am doing this attack, or when anyone should be looking to do this attack. And I'm going to try to point out a few of those things here. So first off, my queen walk. I started it over at, I guess, about 7 o'clock, invested a couple of troops, got some cheap funneling done, and then obviously I have to do some funneling elsewhere to get the Valks to go exactly where I want them. So like I said, the Eagle is my target. There it is right there, highlighted in the core of the base. And you got to look for things to pull your troops there. So first off, I got the King. Next, the CC can be a great pull to pull those Valks into the core. And you can see things are lined up here perfectly. So they go from the King, and then the CC pulls them into the core. And then on the back end, I've got the enemy Queen. So those things are definitely going to help me. And I highlighted that cannon. That's where I'm going to have the entry point for the Valkyries. Now, what else am I looking for? Let me pull up my draw tool. I am looking for compartments that look like this. And I apologize for using white on top of the white walls, but these dead zones are specifically designed to stop hogs and loons from pathing to the Eagle. But you can use those to direct the Valk. So I've drawn an arrow where I want the Valks to go in, and they're not going to see that Inferno. They're not going to see those air defenses over there. They're going to pull straight in and follow that nice path that I have drawn straight through the base. And then I've got sort of an unaccounted for area in the base, which I've highlighted over here. So that's the area where I envision my troops all finishing up this raid. So, because of those dead zones, I can predict the Valk pathing very, very easily. So let me get this cleaned up, and let's take a look at this. I also want to talk about my troop composition. Look at it down there. Got 17 Valks and 8 Hogs, so this attack can be done a variety of ways. You gotta plan the comp for the base, though. You don't just pick a comp and call it a day. Alright, so you can see I'm using couple of Valks and a Wizard to get the funnel over here towards that 9 o'clock side, ensuring my Queen is going to walk down this side of the base, and then in just a second, there's that Rage spell. Like I said, generally throw in one Rage on that entry. So I like to run with 4 Rages, 2 heals, because you got the Warden as an extra heal for you. But Queen is doing exactly what I want her to do. She's walking that perfect direction. And then I've got the King and a couple of Wizzies doing a Kiwi walk. And now look at this funnel that I've got created for the Valks. So I'm going to pause in just a second. So look at the funnel. The Valks have nowhere to go except for right exactly where I want them to. The funnel is set up beautifully, and the Valks can go straight into that Town Hall compartment, use the King, and use the CC as the anchor. So Here come those Valks. Perfect. Eagle does activate. It goes for the king. That's not a big issue. Whatever. Drop that first rage spell down. And I'm going to get the bomb tower on the entry. Pop a heal spell down for the Valks. And then here we go. Raging up through those walls. Pop that warden ability. And that witch is what's pulling those Valks straight into the core. Now, I went with a couple early hogs to try to get that Inferno. This was a cleanup attack, so I knew that that was an issue. But still have the queen ability in the bag, so it's not going to be too big of a problem. But look at the Valks. Exactly where I wanted them to go because of those dead zones in the space. Now, a couple more hogs come in on the back end, but look at how many Valks are still up. Did choose to bring a Skelly spell in this one. That was a little bit of an accident. Obviously, you can bring the poison, but look at the bombs going off now. Bombs generally by the Inferno towers. You can bank on that. That's just the way the meta is. Trying to stop hogs in those areas, but the healers are on the Valk, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Finally, they break out, and what's left over? That exact compartment that I planned for my troops to end at. So, just perfect pathing. And that's the thing. You gotta plan where you want those Valks to go, and you got to lead them exactly where you want them to go. So finishing this one up, this was the first triple that I picked up with it. It was a cleanup. It was a very nice hit. I have to give a shout out to my man Joey. Almost got it done with basically a baby Town Hall 11. I just had to go in and tweak a couple of things. But let's jump into a couple more. I need to go over to the other war, and in this war, I did go 2 for 3 using the Falcon. You're going to see all 3 of those hits actually. But let's jump down, check out the first one, and again, identify what I was looking at. So in this one, again, what am I looking for? I'm looking for those dead zones. I'm looking for the anchors to the Eagle. So dead zones that are in this one, right here, I've got this beautiful L shape, which is going to basically make sure those Valks go exactly where I want them, and then a second dead zone around the Eagle. So once the Valks go into the core, they're going to be fine. Now I've marked off where I'm going to set a funnel and where my queen is going to walk and where those Valks are going to enter in. Now right here where I've highlighted, that's a trouble spot. The Valks could go through, they could bust straight through and run up to the king, but I've got the queen and I've got the CC, both of which are going to pull those Valks into the core, and then they're going to pull a juke move because of that dead zone, walk their way back out and around in this space. Now again, look at the comp. It's a little bit different this time. I'm bringing a couple extra bowlers of my own, a few less hogs because they're not as necessary in this one. And you can judge, where do you get good bowler skip damage? Better bowler skip damage means more bowlers. Um, the hogs really just for doing a little bit of, easy pick off on some defenses. But let's check out this queen walk again. I'm going to put it on 2 times here because it's not that interesting, right? The queen walks exactly where I want her to. There's the rage, and then also popped the ability. Probably could have saved it, but went ahead. Better safe than sorry. A giant and a couple hogs went in. Like I said, cleanup attacks. You know these things make your funnel that much easier. That baby drag gonna get its value done. And then the king and a couple of whizzies. Eagle activates. It's on the king. No issues. Here come the Valks. Here come the bowlers. And everyone is going to hop skip right into the base. So here we go. Gonna drop that rage spell down, and then a heal spell to keep those Valkyries up through the bomb tower, through the giant bomb. Again, giant bomb in an inferno compartment. Warden ability catches everybody. Another rage inside of that core. And then where do the Valks go? They gotta dart back out around because they're not gonna go through the dead zone. And then here we go, another heal spell on the back end, and then in just a second, pop in a couple of hogs on the back end and trying to get a couple of those outside defenses taken care of. And again, there's an area which was unaccounted for in this raid. It's again the Inferno compartment on the back end, but I'm just banking on the ability to overwhelm this base. So everything busts out. That's not a problem. Look at how many Valks are up. And again, one of the reasons I like it, spring traps right now. Currently, max spring is going to spring 2 Valks. You don't have to worry about it. They're designed to stop the hogs, not the Valks. And rips through everything on that backside rage. A couple of, defenses still left up. Trail in a hog. He doesn't really get too much done. But with the queen up, a few Valks, and some bowlers, everything is gravy. So again, predicting that Valk pathing, excellent queen walk value, and getting it done. So let's look at another one, and this time I'm actually going to show you one of my fails. And I like doing this because, not everyone is perfect. Sometimes you're going to make mistakes, but let's talk about why they're mistakes. So this base is the exact same base that I just hit with a few changes. Now, first change is going to be right here. All of the heroes are stacked in this town hall compartment. So, definitely know I'm going to need the rage. Definitely know I'm going to need the poison over there to deal with the king and the queen. But I don't have anything to anchor into that eagle compartment except for the CC. And now, in this one, I haven't talked about CC so much. I haven't talked about using them to pull those Valks in. And generally speaking, right, you see Baby Drag Witch, some kind of DPS CC. Unfortunately, in this one, it was a Lava Hound. I did not take the appropriate amount of time to plan this attack out, so because of that, you're going to see why I failed. But again, exact same funnel, all right, exact same sort of queen walk. In fact, it's the exact same comp that I used, right? Bowlers, a couple extra bowlers, a few less hogs. There's the rage spell, gets through the enemy king. I dropped the poison a little too early, so I am going to have to burn the queen ability on the queen, but funnel is going the exact same. Everything looks great here. There's the king, there's the wizards, here come the Valks, everyone's going in, and then unfortunately, this is where things start to take a turn. So the Valks do beat through the wall, but unfortunately the queen doesn't follow suit, gets that heal down, and there's that lava hound. So now that wall that I said was troublesome before, it becomes a problem because nothing to pull the Valks into the eagle. So they wrap around and look at what happens here. The bowler skip damage is huge, but eagle still up with a shred of life. And that is a killer in this one. You can see I still got the warden ability. I was holding on to it, got that heal down. I have one rage left, but that's going to be it. There's nothing that I have that can go and get that eagle. I do try to sneak a hog in here in just a second. They are going to get to the eagle, but it is just too little too late. The Valks die out, and on top of that, the hound pops. So can't even pick up any of that free percentage out there in the corners. Doesn't work out. So always make sure that you're paying attention with your CCs, making sure that your anchors are set nice and hard to bring the Valks exactly where you want them to go. But let's look at, before I jump into the last replay, let's look at a base that isn't really a great Falcon base and talk about why it's not a great Falcon base. And let's see, where is it at? Where is it at? I think it's base 13. Base 13. All right, so I was talking with someone on, and they were discussing potentially falconing this base because again, it does have some of those things that we talked about. It's got that open L shape. In just a second, I'm gonna highlight that for you guys. It's got that open L. It's got a couple of dead zones that we can think about. We've got some anchor points that we can use to pull the Valks wherever we want them to go. But I ultimately decided this was not a great Falcon base for a few reasons. So there's that L shape that we're looking for. So that's great. The Valks can definitely run around that. But you see there is some trash buildings there. We've got a decent entry point with the Queen, the CC that can pull us. We've got that dead zone right there, so the Valks are going to break out and hopefully come back in with some good funneling up there on that elixir storage. But the question is, do we have a high value queen walk here? And ultimately I decided that no. I can get that air defense, no problem. I can get the queen to walk, but what are the issues in this base? It's going to be these couple of buildings right here. So that dark elixir drill, that bomb tower, you're also going to come into range of the queen out there. So I was worried that the queen would try to walk that channel, and if she did, that was it for her. She would be ripped. And so ultimately decided not a great Falcon base. So pay attention again, right? Could have gone in on it, probably, maybe would have gotten it done, but I don't think so. So let's look at the last base. So this is the last one that I'm talking about. And again, let's look for those things that I've talked about. High queen walk value. So choosing this time to start the queen walk up towards 12 o'clock. All right, so I want the queen to walk up there and then walk her way down the wall. And ultimately, my entry point is going to be right here at this Inferno compartment. Why? Let's look at the dead zones. There's one right there. There's one right there. Where are the only place the Valks can go after they get through that Inferno compartment? Well, I'll show you right here. So the Valks will go in and then path through that Archer Tower and then straight into that Eagle, and then of course through the Queen. So they're gonna run and rip straight through the space. There's a couple of other dead zones, that cannon, that Wizard Tower compartment. Those are dead zones that the Valks really aren't going to be worried about, especially with bowler skip damage. And look at all these things on the back end I get with that entry. I get those expos, I get that bomb tower, I get plenty. And then once the Valks bust out of the back end, I don't really have to worry about too much here. So again, I have an unaccounted for area. It's over here. It's another Inferno Tower compartment. Again, not something to be too worried about. You can bring a couple of hogs. You can bank on your troops overwhelming it. And let's see this one. So in this one, I do decide to bring the loon in for the scout on the Queen Walk. Something I hadn't done previously because those walks had been somewhat scouted before. But in this case, bringing in that. And then I invested pretty heavily down here to get this funnel set. Wanted to try to get that gold storage. I want to ensure the Queen walks exactly where I want her to, because otherwise this attack is dead in the water. That's it, right? As soon as the Queen walks around, it goes from 12 down to 3. That's the end of the raid. There is no easy funnel points. There are no good spots to ensure that the Valks go exactly where I want them to. But Queen is going in. She's doing her thing exactly as intended. She's going to get that air defense. The healers stay out of range. There's the rage, knowing that I'm going to encounter the enemy king. And then I dropped 2 Valks early. That was a bit of a mistake. Meant to drop the king and the Wizzies first. Thankfully, the Eagle still went to the right spot. But look at my Queen. She's under Inferno fire. And that's simply because of my timing here. Popped her ability to make sure that she gets through. She beats through a wall. Here come the Valks. Here come the bowlers. And as soon as she gets through that wall, the CC does engage her. So poison spell down. But still, the dead zones funnel the Valks exactly where I want them to go. They're headed right in, pop that warden ability, catch everybody. They run straight through that Inferno, rip through that Queen, still raged up. The next heal is going to go down, and the pathing is exactly as predicted. So as unpredictable of a troop as the Valkyries are, they can be pretty predictable. And look at that Queen, she's lagging behind everything. She can't see any of that stuff over there. So she runs through basically the entire base, only to shoot on a wall. Don't ask me. But, like I said, overwhelming the base. So many bowlers, so many Valks still up. And even though those early Valks are going to die out, that are running way out in front, everyone else will catch up, and that's going to be it. So there's a couple of things left over. There's that troll test in the corner. Got the hogs for that. No issue. And then just going to let the Queen and the Valks and the bowlers smash through the rest of this one. So again, guys, like I said, big keys in this one. Good Queen Walk value. Everyone who's at Town Hall 11 should know how to do a Queen Walk by now, so I don't have to tell you about that. Good funneling, right? Using anchors of some type to pull yourself to the core, to pull yourself to the Eagle, to pull yourself to the heroes, right? Whatever you're going to use. Those are the 2 main things that I'm looking for in this attack strategy. So hopefully you guys find this very helpful. Hopefully you guys can take it out, use it, test it out, play with it, try to build some bases against it, do whatever you want. But myself, I have a couple of hits to do. As you can see, we're matched up with Reddit Blue, getting them a little tune-up for their Guts and Glory war that is coming up. And hopefully I'm going to go find some bases to get some Falcon hits on. So I've been doing well with it. Hopefully you'll be doing well with it. But I think that'll do it, guys. If you did enjoy this type of video, please make sure to let me know. I'll try to do more in the future. But that'll do it, guys. If you liked it, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, this is Sam. Peace out.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me.